Welcome back, guys. It's Israel. If you guys have followed the channel for a while, you guys know that a while back, I taught you guys how to use your .NET APIs and Twilio to text. But now, I'm coming back around for a second swing at it. And now, we're not only going to be using just our .NET 8 API and Twilio, we are now going to be sending messages to WhatsApp. So, buckle up because Twilio has changed a lot since we were last here. But before I do that, I just quickly want to thank all my channel members for their support. If you guys want to support the channel directly, as well as pop up here, and as well as have access to any repo from any project of mine on YouTube, go check out the link below on how to become a channel member. But now, let's get to texting WhatsApp. So now we're at the code part. So first things first is what I want to do is just create the base API, and then we're going to go to Twilio because honestly, the majority of stuff that you have to do is in Twilio and WhatsApp with Meta and stuff of that nature. So I'm just going to quickly set up like kind of the base of the project, create it. Then we'll go to Twilio and then come back, finish the code, and then demo. Good. We're good. All right, cool. Let's go. So first things first, you're going to have a web API. So we're going to select that. We're just going to call it Twilio. Let's see, WhatsApp API. Let's go there. Next, we're going to do .NET 8. Doesn't really matter, but I'm using the latest and greatest, right? Why not? So we're going to create that, and I'll be right back once it's done. So now that our project's been created, I went ahead and just deleted some of this weather forecast stuff that comes with the like demo sample or whatever. So we're going to get rid of those. And now I'm going to go ahead and create a new folder for our one model that we're going to be using. So we're going to add a new folder. Let me rename this to models. And then inside of here, we're just going to add one model. So it's going to be a new item. So it's going to be Twilio SMS. We're going to call it. Let's add this in here. And inside of here, we're going to add just two controllers. So one is going to be, I believe, the receive SMS. So we're going to call it receive. It's going to be a controller. And then this is going to be called receive SMS. And then we're going to have another controller inside of here as well. Again, add. And then we're going to call this send SMS. So the receive SMS controller, what it's going to do is it's going to wait for someone to text us. That goes directly to Twilio. And then we're going to set a webhook that then forwards that to our API. And I'm going to show you guys how to do that. The send is obviously going to be our controller where we're actively sending messages out. And then we're going to have this model. And now let's set the Nuget packages that we're going to need. And then I think that'll be good. And then we're going to go actually to Twilio and start setting all that stuff up. So we're actually only going to need one package, and that is going to be the Twilio.NET package. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in here, browse for Twilio, and we're going to need the .NET Core one. So we're going to need that one. You see they have the latest stable of 8 for .NET 8, right? We're going to go ahead and install that, and that is all that you're going to need. So now that we've set up the shell of our API, what I want to do now is go to the Twilio console, and I want to walk you guys through everything that you need to set up Twilio with your number with WhatsApp, because it is way different from just texting a number. Like if you guys maybe watched my previous video, as well as there's now more laws and regulations around Twilio and sending text messages, at least in the United States. So I'm going to walk you through all those different steps of what you have to do every single place. So, just keep track with the video. Don't skip anything because it might be the reason that your API doesn't work properly. So let's get into that. And also, I just quickly want to mention that anything that I'm doing in this video, I'm going to have links to a lot of the Twilio documentation and videos explaining more in depth all this stuff like the A2P, 10DLC stuff, and a lot of the different processes and resources that I use to create this video. I'm going to link them all in the description if you guys need more resources than just watching my video. All going to be in the description. Okay, guys, so hopefully you guys are also at console.twilio.com. This is your Twilio console. This is where all the magic happens for a lot of the stuff in this video. So first of all, if you guys are trying to do this video with a sample phone number just to test things out, I do not believe it's going to work. I do believe that you actually need a real purchase number. And if you don't know how to do that, go over here to phone numbers, manage, and then you buy a number. It'll bring up a screen where you can kind of look up the country, what all stuff that you need to be able to do. Go ahead and purchase your number. It's, $1 or something. It pays for itself if you're going to use this for real, right? So once you have a number, which this is my number right here in Dallas, Texas, where I stay at, don't try and text this number. It'll probably be gone by the time this video comes out. So silly gooses, don't spam that number. I don't know why you would, but whatever, right? So anyways, now we're actually going to get into some of the new stuff, the stuff that confused me whenever I was looking into this, is now that there is this A2P 10DLC registration that is required. So essentially what all of this is, it is the US's way of combating against all those spam text messages that you get. So now a business actually has to register and go through a lot more steps to be able to directly text people. So with that being said, you do have to go through this whole process of doing this, and I'll show you guys the steps that you have to do to, get it done. But this is a new thing. And essentially what you need to know is that basically this is you registering your business and telling the government or whoever regulates this stuff, like, hey, I'm going to start this campaign and I'm going to be texting people about this X, Y, and Z service for my business, or in my case, to make a YouTube video, right? And I have to disclose that so that it's not just spam that, nowadays we have it coming from so many different angles when it comes to, our phones. So that is what this is about, and I will walk you guys through the steps of doing this properly. All right, guys, so we're on the page where you click on your active number. As you can see, I went to manage active numbers, and then that is the number that I have now. So click into that. And now we actually need to do that registration so that we can actually send text messages like it says right there. So we are going to actually click into that initiate A2P 10 DLC registration. So we have to go into there to actually go ahead and do that. So when you click on that, it's going to open this tab. And now you have to go through and you have to start your profile. You have to do, like it says up there, all messages have to be sent by an approved application to person campaign. So step into that button. And now you have to register your customer profile as well as register your brand. So in my case, my brand name is myself. It could be your business. It could be whatever you need it to be, right? For my case, my brand name is myself. Here, I think I set my vertical to entertainment for just, it's a YouTube video. And then I set my mobile phone number, my personal one, because I needed to get a confirmation to confirm that this is my brand. This is actually who I am. And then I went ahead and submitted this information so that the campaign registry, right? That's what it says here. The TCR is the one that you have to actually say, like, this is my registered brand. I'm official. I'm not some just random bot. I'm official. And I actually want to be able to send text messages, right? And on your phone, you'll receive a notification like it shows here. And you just have to say, yes, this is me. I'm the actual person that's registering this brand, so that they know you're official. And then there's just like a short process. It says 24 hours. It took a few minutes to be able to open a campaign, which we're going to do in the very next step. And this is where we actually declare, like, hey, we want to send text messages for our brand for this purpose, is why we want this number to be able to text. So at a certain point, it will come up and say, this is your starter profile. You're good to go. You've been allowed. You can now send a certain amount of text messages. And your number is ready to text. But now you have to actually create a campaign with Twilio. This represents, like it says there, your use case for actually doing this. So click your use case, which in my case, again, was sole proprietor. I'm going to create a new message service. And then you have to do a description of, the campaign that you're doing. So I told them basically, like, look, I'm creating a YouTube video that's educational for you fine people. Your sample message of what your text could look like. Because they just need to approve some type of message of the stuff that you're kind of trying to send out. If your message is gonna contain certain links, phone numbers, and then you can also kind of put a start or stop so that when someone receives a message from you, they can be like, do you opt in to receive messages from this business? And that's where you kind of put that in this part of the field. And then you should be good to go when you get to the bottom. And then you can just go ahead and create this campaign. So once you filled everything out, there's a button in the bottom right that says create. You go ahead and click that. And then you confirm that you're registering this campaign, confirm, and then it'll say that it's going to be submitted and under review. But honestly, in my experience, it took not several days like it says, it just took a few minutes. So once you've done the registration and you've gone through all those steps, we now want to use WhatsApp. We now want to text WhatsApp numbers. We now want to receive messages from WhatsApp numbers. So how do we do that? Well, what you need to do first is you need to actually create a WhatsApp sender. So essentially what you need to do is you need to authorize yourself with Meta/Facebook, however you guys know them as, and basically state yourself as a business with Meta, and then bring that profile into Twilio and connect the two so that you now have that connection, and Meta verifies you, and now Twilio, and now you're good to go to actually, use a Meta product like WhatsApp and be able to text through that. Once you go down here to senders, we now have WhatsApp senders and WhatsApp templates. WhatsApp templates are what, at least I believe, is Meta only allows you to use templates. You can't just like free text, like if you were texting someone on WhatsApp, because you are a business, you actually have a certain template that needs to be approved. But we will get there later in the video. So click on WhatsApp senders. And as you can see, I already have one that is connected to my number. That is the number that I purchased. But you guys will get to this point, and I'll walk you guys through the steps that you need to do to have this Meta business verification. But this is what your page should look like when it's working. But let me walk you guys through the steps of when you actually want to register the number that you bought in Twilio with WhatsApp so you can actually use it to text. Okay guys, so how do you do a WhatsApp sender? So right here, as you guys can see, I screen recorded my screen while I was doing this on my own. So I just kind of want to walk you guys through this. So I may pause, I might just let it go, but just guys want you to know that that's what's going on in the background. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to messaging. You're going to do on WhatsApp senders, which is what I was just showing you guys, just my completed version. So at the beginning, you're going to see something like this, getting started with WhatsApp. It's going to be like, hey, what's up? Meta, Facebook, Meta Business Manager. Essentially, you need to have your business account connected to Meta, and then connected to WhatsApp, and then that connected to Twilio and the number that you bought through Twilio. They all have to be in sync, in perfect harmony with each other. So Meta actually allows you to text into WhatsApp. So you're going to click get started. And then after get started, you're going to select the Twilio number that you bought and then continue. Now you're going to go ahead and link your WhatsApp business account. So at this point, it's going to send you to Facebook through this little pop-up right here. So I'm going to continue as myself. And then you're basically just going to say, hey, this is my WhatsApp business account with Twilio, with Meta. And then what I did here is essentially I just set my business name, which again is kind of the same thing that I did with my campaign. And that profile is just, again, I use my name because I am the business, right? And then I just use, again, my email that I have associated with my YouTube. And I believe I set my YouTube profile channel page as the URL here. And then I set my country as the United States of America. And then I believe I just click next, and we kept going through here. This next part, you're just going to continue to fill out more information. So essentially here, you're just going to select, this is what I'm creating, a WhatsApp business account and profile. Again, it brings in my name already. I just copied it over into the account name. I'm choosing, again, my side of it, which I'm clicking education here. I just set a business description, which is, again, my YouTube channel, and then moving along with the same website URL that I just passed in. Once I filled this out, it's then going to send you an email and ask you to confirm that this is the email that you're actually using. So you guys are going to see right here, sends me an email, I confirm, and then it's going to open up this businessfacebook.com, show you right here. You're all good to go. You're active. You have full control, and your email's registered. You now have a Meta business account, and that connection has been made. So once you finish confirming your email and you see in like that Meta business section that it's active, and now you come back here, what you're going to want to do is copy your number here, or if you have it written down somewhere, copy it again, right? And then you're going to want to come here, copy and paste it into here. You're going to have to verify this number. And when it gets verified, that message is going to go straight to Twilio, and it'll be captured here. And then you're going to grab this number and copy it into here. So that's what you're going to see right here. So I copied my number into here, press next. So it's going to send that code to Twilio. Twilio is then going to go ahead and capture that verification code in here. And now once you copy this number that comes into here, paste it over here. And now you've connected Meta, WhatsApp, and Twilio with all this verification with your WhatsApp business profile to the Meta. And now you're connecting your Twilio number to WhatsApp. And once you've done this, you should be done verifying. Now you click next. You are again going to set just the permissions for essentially WhatsApp and Twilio to interact. And now you are ready to chat with people on WhatsApp. So it's going to give you kind of what you immediately get started with, but you've now made the connection between all three things. And you should see up in this top right hand corner, kind of you successfully completed WhatsApp sender registration. You've successfully linked. And after those verifications, now your screen should look something like this. And you should have your WhatsApp number, should be the same Twilio number that you purchased. And it should say that you're online and you're all good to go here. So this is the big step 2 to making the big connection, but you're not done yet. So some of you might be thinking at this point, we've created our WhatsApp business account. We've registered our number. We've bought our number. We should be able to just text to WhatsApp, right? Well, you would be wrong. You're going to be running into errors, and I'm here to fix that error that some of you might have clicked on this video specifically to figure out. So what you're going to need to do is connect that WhatsApp profile to your campaign that we created at the beginning of this video. And how do you do that? By creating your WhatsApp sender. Essentially, we need to give the campaign what we're going to be using to text with, which is going to be our WhatsApp number. So in my screen recording, you're going to see I'm going to regulatory and compliance. We're going to click on campaigns. And when we click on campaigns, we're going to see the campaign that I created earlier. You should see yours as well. Hopefully it's verified. This is my use case of sole proprietor. We're going to need to set our messaging service connected to this campaign. So this is the campaign ID, which is right here, but we need to click on this. So now that we're at the sender pool, this is the key part that a lot of people are missing, is that when you click right there, we now need to set a sender for this campaign. A sender is a channel, number type, or messaging type that can receive and send messages using Twilio. So now here, we need to select from our phone numbers, WhatsApp numbers, or others for this specific campaign. So when you're here, now we need to go ahead and click the Add Senders button. Then at this point, there's this drop down. We need to select WhatsApp number because that's what we're setting as our sender for this campaign. Click ahead. And then we're going to get this screen right here. This is going to bring up what numbers you have on Twilio. What you're going to do is, this is the one that we've bought, that you've bought, right? You're going to check it, and then it will format it with WhatsApp : and then your number in the correct format. But that's going to say this is the WhatsApp number that we're going to be using for this. So you can click it, add WhatsApp number, and then it's been assigned. So now, as you can see, this number is assigned to the campaign, and now yours looks something like mine. I also went ahead and added just a regular number in case I wanted to text for this campaign. But once you have this, this is a key linchpin for actually being able to text to WhatsApp using Twilio. So now the final thing that you actually have to do is you need to add a WhatsApp template. So we have our WhatsApp senders. So you have your number right here. You're good to go. But now Meta only allows you as a business, because you are sending text messages to WhatsApp as a business with that business account that we created. You can only send templates. So what are templates? As you can see here, I already have a few, and I'm going to, again, walk you guys through me actually creating these. But you need to be an approved sender, and they have to follow message templates. If at this point, before creating these, you actually try and send a text messages, Twilio will fail and say that you are not texting WhatsApp with an approved actual template. So you need to go ahead and create these. And you can do that by clicking into new message template. And I'm going to show you guys how I created mine. So to create your WhatsApp template for the first time, you're going to go to messaging, senders, WhatsApp templates down here. You're going to see a blank page like this if you've never created one. So you need to create your first WhatsApp message template. Again, it says here that submissions will take time to get processed, but honestly, it always takes a few seconds to like a minute at the most. So you're going to click that big button. And now you are going to, again, just move ahead to submit a message template. So when you get to this blank page for creating your actual template, I personally am just creating like a welcome template, like a, hey, this is Israel texting you for YouTube, blah, 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 blah. So I selected utility here. I did just welcome as a name. You have to do lowercase letters, and you need to use an underscore if you want to do like a space. So like welcome and hi or something. I don't know. If you want to just use 2 words, you have to use an underscore. And now moving along, let's get to the message template. So in the message template for here, I just selected English from the dropdown, and then my message body is going to be, hi YouTube, this is Israel's video about how to text to WhatsApp using Twilio. And in here you have buttons. So these buttons, I'll show you when we actually send the messages to WhatsApp, how they look like, but they're just quick replies that people can do. You click it and it's automatically going to send that text message as a reply. So you can have none. It can just be a straight text, or you can have a call to action, or you can again have this quick reply, which can be 3 buttons that you just click, instantly replies. And then at the end, you're just going to click this button at the bottom. That's just going to save. It just says save template to WhatsApp. And once you have that, you get to this screen here, and it'll just say that it's waiting for approval. And once your template has been approved, you should see something like this. So if I click into this WhatsApp reply, I'll show you guys what this one has. This one is WhatsApp reply. It's for marketing. I guess it changed maybe. Then you have this message body. Hey, this is Israel for his YouTube video. Reply to me, question mark. And I did quick reply with buttons. So I did yes, no, and maybe. And that's what I had there. And you can go in here and you can edit it if you want to edit it. And let me show you guys what my welcome looks like now. So again, my welcome is, hi YouTube, this is Israel's video about how to text to WhatsApp using Twilio. Again, it's been approved. And then I did a call to action. So that'll have a phone number and a website. So it'll be my channel link as well as a call us button that opens up the calling app, right? Or sends you to YouTube. And I'll show you guys how those look like whenever I show you my screen recording of the app working. But awesome thing, guys, once you have this, you are done with everything that you need to do on WhatsApp. But pay attention to one thing, is that whenever you create your message, and I'll show you guys whenever I actually go to send the messages in the actual code when we get there, you have to actually put this message text in there so that Twilio and WhatsApp knows what's going on, because it has to be an approved template. It cannot just be random text, because it needs to be able to point back to this and be like, oh, we're good with this WhatsApp reply template. It's exactly this one. I know what buttons to show under it. I know that it's good. So that is very important. But that is the last thing that we need to do on the Twilio console. Now, back to the code. Okay, guys, so now let's actually finish out our models and our controllers here. So to actually fill out our code here, it's not a lot of code, to be honest. Our model is just going to have two things. But there's a lot of different things that you can add. And again, in the documentation I'm going to be linking below, you'll be able to see the full JSON model of what we get back. But in here, I'm only going to have from, which is who sent it, and the body of the reply, essentially. So that's all this is going to be. In receive, we are going to have a bit more things. In our receive controller, we're going to have a few different things. What we're first going to do is change it to a Twilio controller. We're going to get rid of this index. We're going to decorate it with the API controller, and we're going to set its route properly. Now we're going to actually create our method inside of here. So we're going to have this send reply method. We are going to set that our Twilio SMS model is going to be in here. We're going to say it's coming from a form. We set our HTTP post here, and we need to set that this is a Twilio ML result. The Twilio ML result is important because this is going to be able to actively send the reply back to that same number that comes through. So to set that response up, we're going to do messaging response in here, var response, and then we're going to be sending our reply message here. But pay very close attention to what I'm doing here. This cannot just be any reply if you're doing WhatsApp replies. Why? Because it needs to be the text for one of your templates. So going back to my template here, this welcome template is this message text right here. Hi YouTube, this is Israel's video about blah, 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 blah using Twilio. And that's the one that is here because it needs to be able to go back to a certain message template and know that you're using an approved one. So, and then once you're in here though, what you could do is you could look at this request response. Let's say they reply yes or no or maybe or whatever. So at this point, you could have like, if the person says yes, run this specific template. If they say no, reply with this specific template. Maybe this. Or, you know, respond with this given action, given whatever the user gives you. You have your different templates all set up for possible pathways the person could go down, right? But now with the send and send SMS, it's going to be a little different, obviously. So our send SMS controller is going to look a little bit like this. So let me copy in the code. And let me walk you guys through what I moved into here. So first of all, I'm just setting this as an API controller, setting the route, nothing crazy. We again are changing it to controller base in this one versus over here, we have it as a Twilio controller. Don't forget that distinction. Here we now have our account SID, which you should be able to find in your Twilio console, as well as your auth token. This is the super secret one. So I will put it in right before I demo, but I'm not going to show it to you guys. But just realize that you have to put that in there. You should be able, again, to find it in your Twilio console. Then we now have our send text method. What I'm going to do is here is import my Twilio stuff. So we're good there. So our method is going to be an HTTP post, send text. We don't actually need this in here, so we can get rid of that. because I'm going to be hard coding in my phone number into here, which is also why this is blank. But obviously, you could pass in a phone number into here. I just don't think we need that, right? Let me bring this in again. So right here is going to be whatever number you're going to text to. It can be dynamic, right? In my case, I'm hard coding it, but you guys know how to, pass in phone numbers, right? That's not what you're here for. So we initialize a Twilio client by passing in these two things. That's obviously how we know that we're authorized to send text. And then now we're going to create our message body. So our to and from. So from our Twilio number that's been approved, connected to WhatsApp, blah, 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 blah. And then here's the number that we're sending to. And then our body. So just like this one needs to be the exact text from a WhatsApp template, so does this one. So, hey, this is Israel for his YouTube video. Reply to me is exactly this. It is exactly this template that is right here. Hey, this is Israel for his reply to me. So it's WhatsApp reply. So once you set this message body and you make sure this is a proper WhatsApp template, you then can just return whatever you feel like to just prove that, hey, we did confirm and actually send our text message. But with that being said, that is actually all the code that we need to create for sending and receiving text. But now we do need to add another tool so that we can locally actually test receiving our text messages. Because in the production environment, you would have your API would be hosted somewhere, right? Azure, AWS, wherever, and it would be remotely somewhere. But it is not possible right now for Twilio to send me locally with just running my API here the messages that it receives, right? Because it actually has to use a webhook. So with that, we're going to use a tool called NGROK. So if you guys are going to want to locally test receiving text messages from WhatsApp, you guys are going to need NGROK. So go to ngrok.com/download. And essentially what this tool does is it hosts your local host in a server so that Twilio can actually access and forward whatever it gets. So where would you even do this? It's because it uses a webhook, and that would be set down here when you go to messaging configurations in Twilio. You see here that when a message comes in, you have it set to a webhook. You can set it to other things, but for locally testing with your API, you set it to a webhook, and then you give it this path that NGROK gives you, and you set the API receive, and that is the same path that we have here. And that's how I can actually capture the request and know that it's working properly. And then in the real world, you would set this to whatever your AWS or Azure path would be where your API is actually hosted. So you download this tool, and once you have it installed, you click it, and it opens up, and it looks something like this. So as you can see, NGROK exposes local network services behind NIT's firewalls to the public internet over a secure tunnel, which is what we want our API when we're working with it locally to be deployed out there somewhere so that Twilio can actually talk to it and we can make sure that we can send but also receive. So how do you actually host your API in NGROK? Well, I'll show you exactly the command right here. So when I run my API, I see that I have localhost 7230. So 7230 is what we need to expose to the internet. So I'm just going to leave it running. Then I'm going to use this exact command. It's going to be ngrok https :// localhost 7230 -- host header equals localhost 7230. And this will take our API that is currently running and expose it to the internet so that actually Twilio can find it and forward whatever it replies to it. So you press enter, and now you should see something along these lines where it now says that, hey, it's good to go. And then you have to take this URL here, this one right here, copy it. And now that you're in Twilio again, take this and set it right here. Make sure that you don't have any random spaces, and you should have your path to your API. And again, once you actually go to production, because NGROK should not be used in production. Let me move this just in case you can't see. Should be something like that, HTTP post as well. And then you should not obviously use NGROK in production. This is just for local development. This would get replaced with whatever production URL your API has, right? And that's all that you'll need to have here. You save your configuration, and now Twilio knows where to send any replies that your number gets. So when you set up your webhook, you may only have to set this here, but if you set up your campaign with your messaging service a certain way, you may tell it to not look at the default for a specific number. So you will have to look at another place, and that other place is going to be in your campaign. So you're going to go to your campaign, your connected messaging service, and you will then have to go to your integration, and you can tell it to, instead of defer to the sender's webhook, you could click here and you can tell it to do a specific webhook. So I'm just, again, copying in the new path that I got from NGROK. And you would, again, save it here, but just know that's another option if you want to have a specific webhook for this and you want to have like multiple webhooks for different things for the same number or something along those lines. So that is what NGROK is useful for, and that's why I have it here. So if you want to actually receive text messages locally and not in some production environment, you need to use NGROK. But now let's actually move on to testing the sending, receiving, and you guys will see my screen recordings of me actually doing it inside of my phone, right? But right before we get into this demo, if you guys have found this video useful, helpful, has fixed an annoying bug that you guys have been stuck on for multiple days, please drop a like on this video and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of the wonderful content that I have on this channel. But now let's get into the demo. Okay guys, so let's dive into this demo. Make sure again that you put your auth token and the number that you're sending to, or you're just going to pass that into here. So make sure you just didn't forget those two things. That were things that I left out whenever I went through the code because I didn't want to put my personal stuff in there. But what we're going to do is I have my phone already screen recording. So we should be able to capture the text message from here. And then you'll be able to see my response in here when we capture it. And then this reply, you'll see it again on my phone. So let's go through, try it out. My number in here is going to be bogus because I hard-coded my personal number. So we're going to execute this. It says, again, 200. Now, on my personal phone, I got the reply that says, hey, this is Israel for his YouTube video. Reply to me. I'm going to click yes, because, of course, I love myself. Yes. And now we see in here that I get this Twilio request here. I'm not going to open it because my personal number will be in this request. But you will see in the body, you will see my reply of yes, because that was the automatic reply that I had from the yes, no, maybe that I showed you. And then the from will be my number, and it'll say WhatsApp +1 and then my number. But now moving along here, what we're going to do is we're just going to respond with our WhatsApp template, which is the other one. Continue. And you should see that in my screen recording, we should be able to get this response back from my API. But that is everything that you guys have to do to be able to use .NET 8 with Twilio to be able to text WhatsApp numbers. But let's say that you want to add a UI interface using Angular to your API. Well, check out this video right here, how you can integrate the newest version of Angular with .NET 8.